Okay, pianists, welcome to your Module 1, Lesson 1. We will be discussing the ballet company today. So now within the ballet organization, you will have two subcategories. You have the ballet company and the ballet school. Now, both are typically going to be rehearsing and performing their classes within the same building. In some cases, you may have a separate building for the school and a separate building for the company. However, regardless of the location, they will both be subsets of the ballet organization. Now, within the ballet company, you are going to have the core dancers, the soloists, and principals. These are the dancers that will be rehearsing with the company all day. They're contracted dancers. The core de ballet dancers being either entry-level dancers who had just made company and are working up the ranks to soloists and eventually principals, which are the most respected members of the ballet company. But the corps de ballet are kind of given more opportunities than they were maybe 30 or 40 years ago. It used to be that you would start in the corps and maybe you would remain in the corps your entire life. Maybe you would be brought up to given the opportunity to be a soloist at a certain point, but once you were promoted to soloist, you would remain a soloist and not kind of revert to the corps de ballet position. That's not necessarily the case anymore. Corps de ballet dancers are kind of interchanged with soloists and the principal dancers very often to give everyone opportunities to perform, especially because there is so much talent in a lot of the companies today. Nevertheless, the company is who you will interact with the most if you are a company pianist or a rehearsal pianist. They are going to be rehearsing between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. It could be a little shorter, depending on the company you are with. However, the company will typically start their day with a company class, which is just a technique class for the company. This class will move much faster than the school classes, so expect that if you are a company pianist, you will be playing through your repertoire at a much faster pace. The time in between exercises can be very, very short, especially if you're working for a Balanchine company like Pennsylvania Ballet or Joffrey Ballet in Chicago. So now we have the Company 2, which is number 2 on your list. The Company 2 is going to be dancers that are oftentimes under contract, so they are paid dancers in most companies. The Company 2 dancers are kind of like back up to the corps de ballet dancers. So if a corps de ballet dancer is injured or gets sick or maybe is called up to perform a soloist position and there is a need for another corps de ballet member, the company 2 members are on call to step into those roles. They will perform and rehearse and train alongside the company. And they are oftentimes very, very exceptional dancers that have spent years and years and years in training. Oftentimes they were trainees with other companies and they saw an opportunity and were hired by your company to work their way up to a company contract. So the Company 2 dancers are oftentimes much younger. Oftentimes they can be between the ages of 17, I want to say 16, 17 today, and 23, 24. Depends on the company you're with, but you'll see younger and younger dancers getting opportunities to work with the company based on the level of skill that they show at an early age. Working our way down to number 3, we have the trainees. Trainees can be either associated with the school or with the company. In my experience, the trainees are typically kind of performing and rehearsing during the company hours, but they are really a part of the school. They're kind of an extension of the professional level of the school. So you'll have the professional level, and then the next level up will be the trainees. The professional tract is a day tract in most companies where the dancers get the opportunity to study from home or study in the studio, their normal everyday schoolwork. And then they get the opportunity to rehearse just like the company would, all day in a separate room. The trainees are oftentimes given opportunities within the corps de ballet if needed. They're also used for walk-on roles and other types of things where the company needs dancers to either come onto stage to do more theatrical roles, or simply just to be on call and be prepared to step into a role if the company too is not available or the company is not available. Now, the artistic staff, we have your artistic director, who is the big wig of the company. They will oftentimes maybe teach one class a month, maybe one class a week. Oftentimes, the artistic director is not heavily involved with the teaching of the classes. However, the artistic directors of companies are oftentimes extremely well known for their professional career. Many of them have had mega careers, like Angel Correa at Pennsylvania Ballet. So when you have an artistic director, they oftentimes have had a wonderful career, and they are hired by the company to kind of highlight the status of the company. Working down, you have the ballet mistress and you have the ballet master. Also, two individuals who have had wonderful careers in most cases. They are also highly qualified, and they will teach a lot of the classes and run most of the rehearsals. So if you're a company pianist, you will probably be playing for the ballet mistress or the ballet master anywhere from 2 to 5 days a week. Then you have your part-time instructors and your other artistic staff. So there are other members of the staff that may be full-time that aren't necessarily titled in a way. So you may have some members of the company from, in the 90s or the 80s that have been with the company for so long, and they're very well respected as teachers, but they aren't necessarily titled the, ballet master or choreographer or resident stager. They're just well-respected, wonderful teachers with wonderful reputations who are full-time at the ballet and full-time with the company. So you may run into any of these individuals while you are playing as an accompanist at the ballet, but it's very important that you understand this structure, because it can be kind of confusing when you're told you're going to be playing for the company one day, and then the next day you're going to have to come in and play for company 2 class. The company, the trainees, and the company 2 all typically will rehearse between the hours of 9 to 6. And all of those levels of the company will be taking their technique class between the hours of 9 and 11. On most days, it could be 9:30 to 11. It could be 9:30 to 11:30. But regardless, all of these levels of the ballet are going to be starting their day with a class, a warm-up class. In the trainees, or with the trainees, this warm-up class could actually lead into point and maybe even men's class and variations, or maybe possibly some pas de deux or character class. The trainees are going to be are going to have their day mainly devoted to training, as the name suggests, whereas the company too will be in rehearsals with the company throughout the day. Or they may be rehearsing their own repertoire, because in some companies, the company too has their own separate performances every year. So this is the Ballet Company. This is your introduction, pianists. If you have any questions, you know our email. You can reach out to us by email or phone, preferably through email, and we will see you for your next lesson.